on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon, it's Wednesday, December 17, 2025. On the news this hour, NLC protest over rising insecurity in Nigeria. US adds Nigeria to list of countries facing partial travel restrictions. Police say no court order bars enforcement of tinted glass permit policy for hospitalized as aircraft crashes at Imo Airport. On the foreign scene, US accused of using illegal workers at center processing refugee claims in South Africa. I'm Ifechukwu Muonyili with the news. Now, members of the Nigerian Labour Congress in Rivers State are marching to the Rivers State Government House protesting against the rising insecurity across the country. NLC members started gathering at the Labour House at the D-Line axis of Port Harcourt as early as 8 a.m. In Abuja, some of those already at the Secretariat include the President of the NLC, Joe Ajero, and civil society allies. Notable among them are activist Muonyili and his colleagues in the Revolution Now movement. There is also a deployment of security personnel on the ground, comprising the police, civil defense, and officials of the Department of State Services. Shortly after their arrival, the NLC president and some leaders of affiliate unions had a closed-door meeting, while the majority of the workers gathered in groups in and around the premises of the NLC Secretariat, awaiting directives from their leadership. Meanwhile, Nigeria's security challenges have also drawn global attention, with the United States announcing partial travel restrictions on the country. The U.S. cited security and documentation concerns. The White House announced the presidential proclamation on Tuesday, updating its list of countries facing full and partial travel restrictions. Nigeria is among 15 mostly African countries, including Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Dominica, Gabon, and the Gambia. They were all slammed with a partial travel suspension. Others listed are Malawi, Mauritania, Senegal, Tanzania, Tonga, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Justifying Nigeria's addition to the list, the White House said radical Islamic terrorist groups such as Boko Haram and the Islamic State operate freely in certain parts of Nigeria, which creates substantial screening and vetting difficulties. Now back home in Eche, local government area. The chairman, Chima Boniface Njoko, has condemned and raised serious concern over the alleged invasion of Edegelem community, Ibeche, in Eche local government area by one Corporal Bright Chimezie and 4 other armed men. According to a report, the said individuals stormed the community with the intention of forcefully acquiring community land, firing sporadically, and causing fear and panic among residents. Preliminary investigations revealed that Corporal Bright Chimezie is suspected to be an impersonator of the Nigerian army, as all military formations within and around the area confirmed that he is not a serving personnel of the Nigerian army. Further findings indicate that the 4 other armed men who aided him in the illegal operation are soldiers currently on security duty at an oil servicing company located within the area. Reacting to the incident, Njoko said Eche local government area will not tolerate land grabbing or any form of intimidation of its communities. He assured that all necessary steps will be taken to identify, apprehend, and prosecute Corporal Bright Chimezie and his collaborators.
Unbelievable! Upon the whole publicity I've been doing, one Corporal Bright Chimezie came with some soldiers to invade Imo Edeglem. The funny part of it is this: he entered that land. He does not belong to that community. He came and got other 4 armed men. Open fire at Imo Edeglem at my people. Under my watch, will I allow Bright, Corporal Bright, and his cohorts who will resist him as a local government.
While still in Eche, the chairman, Chima Boniface Njoko, has re-emphasized his determination to change the negative narrative of Eche to a local government area to be reckoned with in the Committee of Local Government Councils in Nigeria. Njoku said this while inspecting ongoing project in the local government secretariat at Okehi. Now, he expressed excitement over the progress of work on the project and said the council will not compromise standard and quality on all of its projects being executed. Speaking on the progress of work on the reconnection project, Chima Njoko said over 98% of work has been achieved as some of the communities were being connected to the national grid, while several others would be connected before the end of the week.
As far as this project is concerned, I'm well satisfied, over satisfied. I'm excited, despite the medical doctors that say I should rest for 2 months. I said no, because of my people. I want to deliver this project to them. I have a mandate of 3 years. I wanted to mark or celebrate my 100 days in office. But because of health issue, I decided to suspend that for now. I will roll it out. The world will see. But more importantly, HA people must see a change.
And now crime remains a concern in Port Harcourt. This comes as residents in Rumuosi, particularly around roads 6 and 7, clamor for the police to increase security patrol around their neighborhood. Speaking to our correspondent, some of the residents reported repeated cases of armed robbery in broad daylight. One victim said 2 robbers on a motorbike stole from a girl near Road 6 junction, while another resident recounted how his family shop was raided. Have a listen to him.
But I didn't they go on. Bandits, they are now tell me to surrender my phone. If I didn't give him the phone, that will shoot me. Then one girl want to escape. She said, we'll shoot her leg. Then I come back here, give me the phone. Then again, the man said that let us enter shop. They will now lie down. My mother, like, she don't want to lie down. The man said that we'll shoot her if she not lie down. Then my mother not lie down. Then he now close the shop, run, enter bike. Bike was waiting for them. I was still at the junction after 6. This day with KK. They shoot their face.
Now they are calling on the state government to look into the issue and provide security to the area. In another development, the Nigeria Police Force has defended its position on the motor vehicle tinted glass permit policy, insisting that there is no court order declaring the policy unlawful or permanently restraining the police from carrying out their statutory responsibilities. In a statement today, Wednesday, signed by its spokesperson, Benjamin Hundeyin, the police said the response was necessitated by recent public discussions on the policy, particularly a statement by the president of the Nigeria Bar Association. On Monday, the NPF announced that enforcement of the tinted glass permit policy will resume on January 2nd, 2026, citing a surge in vehicle-related crimes. Reacting, the NBA had accused the police of flouting a court order restraining the police from enforcing the policy, but the police the police clarified that the existence of pending litigation does not remove the responsibilities of the police except where a court has finally directed otherwise. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we will tell you that 4 people hospitalized as aircraft crashes at Imo State Airport. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. Now, conversations are still ongoing on the Supreme Court judgment, which allows the president to suspend an elected governor during a state of emergency. A human rights lawyer and coordinator of People's Advocate Courage Nseremuvu has criticized the decision of the Apex Court, describing it as a move capable of weakening democracy in Nigeria. He told correspondent Suebi Oruwari that the judgment could erode the democratic rights of the people.
Because the Supreme Court is supposed to be an interpreter of the Constitution and a major instrument of social engineering, not an instrument of social destruction. Even the democracy that we cherish, against military, the Supreme Court is also bringing down the house of democracy. That judgment is perverse, it's unjust.
Nseremuvu also spoke on the possible implications of the judgment on the political environment and on ordinary citizens across the country.
And we are running a constitutional democracy, but so many perverse things are happening. It's a surprise to me. The Supreme Court is also making caricature of itself. The implication is that the president, whenever he wants to settle political scores with any governor, will just declare state of emergency and suspend the governor. That is the consequence of what has happened. So it's a terrible precedent.
Moving on now, 500 elderly people in Rivers State on Tuesday received 200,000 naira each. The gesture is courtesy of the state government and the Renewed Hope Initiative, a pet project of the First Lady, Remi Tinubu. Speaking on behalf of the First Lady of Nigeria, the wife of the state governor, Valerie Fubara, said it is her moral duty to cater.
Elderly citizens live with in recognition of their invaluable contributions to nation building. Through this scheme, we have continued to express our gratitude and care for the men and women and indeed the River State government believe that support to the elderly has to be far-reaching. Hence, our deliberate efforts to touch the beneficiaries directly through our free health care program and other interventions like the River State Contributory Health Protection Program. My beloved people, we all live once, but if we do it right, this once is enough.
Our correspondent reports that the Rivers State government supported 250 elders, while the Renewed Hope Initiative supported another 250 elders from the age of 65 years above. Now, residents of Port Harcourt may face extended power outages as gas supply constraints continue to affect electricity generation nationwide. On Tuesday, the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company said load shedding across its franchise areas is due to low generation and reduced allocation from power companies. Gas suppliers have begun cutting supplies over unpaid debt despite the federal government approving funds to settle liabilities. Pipeline vandalism has also worsened the situation, raising concerns over unstable electricity in the city. In education now, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics has urged the federal government to conclude discussions on the renegotiation of ASUP FGN agreement. The union urged the government to act with sincerity and responsibility throughout the collective bargaining process. It said the agreement remains central to achieving lasting industrial harmony in the polytechnic system. We move to Imo State now, where the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau says 4 persons have been hospitalized after an aircraft crashed at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport, Owerri. NSIB Director of Public Affairs and Family Assistance, Bimbo Oladeji, said in a statement that the incident involving a Cessna 172 operated by Sky Power Express occurred at about 8 p.m. on Tuesday. Oladeji said the aircraft was en route from Kaduna International Airport to Port Harcourt when the crew declared an emergency and diverted to Owerri. NSIB added that the aircraft crashed in the approach area while attempting to land on runway 17. All 4 occupants on board survived the crash but were taken to the hospital for medical attention. And now in business, The stage is set for the presentation of the federal government's expenditure by President Bola Tinubu. This follows the approval of the 2026-2028 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper by the Senate in plenary yesterday. The lawmakers approved a budget of 54.46 trillion naira for 2026. They also endorsed the parameters. Now, this is despite the naira of at 20.131 trillion recurrent expenditure at I beg your pardon of the 54.46 trillion naira projected aggregate expenditure for 2026. The Senate pegged capital expenditure at 20.131 trillion naira. Now, recurrent expenditure at 15.265 trillion naira, statutory transfers at 3.152 trillion naira, and sinking fund at 388.54 billion naira. Also, the Senate approved the $60 per barrel as oil benchmark and trillion naira. News, particularly the petroleum profits tax and